What's up, everybody? In this video, I want to talk to you about effective communication. Being an effective communicator is extremely important in life. The reason I think that is because your life is made up of your agreements, right? Like how you're treated in your relationship romantically, how you're treated at work, how your friends engage with you, how clean your space is at home if you share it with a roommate or a partner. Your life is made up of all these situations that, who is in every one of these situations? Fuck! Hello.
Hello. In the gym?
Yeah, I was doing a recording.
Huh?
Huh?
What are you laughing at?
I was doing a recording when you called.
Oh,
I was like, fuck!
sorry.
It's okay, babe. I answered it because I wanted to tell you goodnight. I assume that's why you're calling.
Oh. I love you.
I love you. Recording. Hello. My girlfriend called me. She wanted to communicate. Communication is important because you create the life that you live, right? The relationships, the dorm room, the job, all these things, you are the common denominator, right? Yeah, that's where we're at. You are the common denominator. You are the person that goes in every one of these. What is consistent in your work, in your romance, in your home? What's consistent? You are. You're half of it. There's a phrase that says you get what you tolerate. That's an empowering phrase. It's empowering. If you can allow it to sink through the resentment, the frustration, the feeling of being a victim. You get what you tolerate in life. You are powerful enough to move to situations that you agree with. Being a good communicator is imperative to having a beautiful life. Because if you're not happy in your relationship, you need to talk about it. If you're not happy in your job, you need to talk about it. If you're not happy in your living space, in your friendships, if you're not happy with the way people treat you, you need to talk about it. Now, it is important to consider that there are times that you're not happy with things, and this just means grow up a little bit, right? You're not happy with having to talk about how you feel with your partner. You're not happy about having to help out around the house. You're not happy about having to share the load at work. These are maybe things that don't need to be explained away and dug into deeper, but maybe just the responsibility with growing up and taking part in the social structure that you're involved in, whether that be interpersonal or societal. But when you are not happy, and it is something that makes sense to bring up, who's the only person that can do that? You. That's why I say the most important number one thing about being a good communicator or doing your part in your life in communicating, because to say one more thing before I get into it, it's not something you do and it's done. Communicating is always needed. It's always needed because you're always going to have wants and needs, and your partner is always going to have wants and needs, and your friends and your boss and your coworkers. People are always going to have wants and needs in your life, and your ability to listen and to respond, or your ability to engage a conversation and have space for people's feelings involved in that situation is extremely important. It's extremely important. So it's not something you just do and it's done. It's a practice. It's something you want to be good at if you're going to have a beautiful life. The first thing to be a good communicator is self-awareness. This, you could really park the car here, because if you know yourself well enough, if you know and respect yourself well enough, then communicating on your behalf is natural. I do want to say that again, because I think it is that important. If you know yourself well enough, which takes time, reflection, meditation, journaling even, therapy, a good friend, an expo marker board to write down your feelings. If you know yourself well enough, what's important to you what your goals are in life. Short term, maybe long term. If you know what's important in your relationships, whatever relationship style you have. If you know where your no lies, this is what I don't want. In multiple areas, relationally, financial, occupational, job, at home, shared spaces, shared living spaces. If you don't know what's not acceptable to you, there's no way to communicate. What do I demand? What must I have so that I will participate in these agreements? What do I want out of my romantic relationship, my friendship, my job, my space? What do I want from these things? What's my intention with them? What's important to me with these? What am I not going to tolerate? What am I not cool with? This, I think, is not something to be discovered mid-conversation. I really don't think so. I don't think how I feel about relationships and finances, my space, my time to unwind, the way I spend my time. I don't think my feelings about what's important to me should be fleshed out with someone else first. This is where it gets difficult. This is where it gets very difficult. Very, very difficult. For me, at least. You mean I have to decide what's important to me without other people's input? Yep. That's about right. Now, that is difficult, and you might, shudder at that idea like I did initially. How do I know that what I need is reasonable? That's where you get to the respect part. Some things you need, and they're not how you'd like to be, but they're how you are at this point in life. You're growing, yes. You're developing, yes. But honoring where you are and what those needs are is important. Needs are not concrete. They change with time. But honoring where you are and knowing what you need and knowing what you want, knowing how you feel is the foundation that allows good communication. If you have a difficult time communicating, saying how you feel, the first thing might be to consider you don't know how you feel. Right? You don't even know what the hell you feel. How are you supposed to communicate if you don't know even what you feel? So the first thing, if not the most important thing about communication, is to know how you feel. Take the time you need. For me, it looks like sitting down with a journal, sitting down with my little Poppy keyboard here, and typing out how I feel about situations and how that connects to what's important to me as a man, how that connects to what's important to my future. What are my goals? And do the things going on in my life align with those? And if they don't, do I have the strength to let them go? That is what you'll find with a lot of introspection is a lot of times we can't communicate because we don't know how we feel, because we're unwilling to know how we really feel, because that involves making a decision. We like being vague. We like being hazy with how we feel because we can settle. We can compromise. We like not having a budget. We like not having decisions about things. Decisions hurt. I think the original word, Latin maybe? I'm not a language master. I believe the word decision is derived from a Latin word or Greek word. Same thing maybe. To cut off, I think. Could be wrong on that, but that sounds about right given the topic, given what we're talking about, how that feels. Decision is to cut off, to decide this is what I want. I don't want all 10 partners, I want one partner. I don't want 5 different jobs, I want this job. I don't want these different cars, I want this car. I cut off the other options, and that's what I choose. We like being vague with our feelings and how we understand our emotions because it leaves our options open. And if we make a decision, we have to stand by it, right? You can change your mind. But most of the times, if you really sit long enough, you will tell yourself how you feel. Think about a relationship. A relationship that is not good and not healthy and not happy and no one wants to be there. Well, you do. But we're perpetuating this thing. We're extending it longer than its natural life because we're just not willing to sit down and say, this isn't working. We don't want to feel the pain. Good communication starts with communication with yourself. How you feel. Really how you feel. And getting honest with yourself about how you feel. One great tip for that introspection about how you feel is giving yourself a little bit of room, some space, and grace when it comes to making decisions. You don't have to leave that person or quit that job or tell your boss what's up just yet. But being honest enough with yourself to feel that it's probably time to leave or quit or tell that person you love them or don't. Or tell that friend that you've got other things going on this weekend and you can't spend time with them. Those decisions are on the horizon. Give yourself space between realizing that you need to make a change in some areas and having to make those changes. That's helped me a lot. Because when I pressure myself, when I say that when you reveal to me, Braxton, how you really feel, we're turning the whole thing on its head upside down, then I subconsciously begin to hold back my own truth. When I allow myself and say, when I turn inwards and say, whatever the truth is, whatever our true feeling is, I am okay with it. I may not make a decision that reflects that yet, but at least I'll know. This is 90% of communication, is knowing how you really feel. Then, the last little bit of this is having the courage and having the skill to put it into words. How I feel. La-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da, la-da-da-da. What's important to me? How I want to go about this. What my no is, what my absolute no is, and what my desire is, what I'd love to see in the situation. Here is my feelings. Now, you're talking to someone. It takes courage to say how you feel. The fear of being rejected for a lot of people is always present. What if I tell you how I really feel and you don't like it? Yeah. That's tough. It is. Very tough. That requires some sense of trust in yourself. That if this is true, this is what I need. If you don't like it, I guess we don't work together. Not necessarily in a romantic breakup sense, but a negotiation. I need this amount. If you don't want to pay that amount, I respect that and respect that this isn't an agreement we could participate in. Being able to strongly deliver that message and strongly negotiate, not in a give me the money and you're going to stay with me. It's not manipulation. It's not cornering. It's not aggression. It's strength and presence. It requires you know how you feel. And that was the whole first part of this video. It takes courage to tell someone how you really feel. It takes a lot of courage to tell them how you really feel. There's a lot of fear in that. How will they respond? Let them respond. What will they think? Let them think. What will they say? This will be quite the adventure, won't it? When they do talk, it's time to listen. I think, or rather, In my life, communication has boiled down to knowing how I feel and being courageous enough to trust that if we don't agree, we just don't agree. If we don't link on that, we just don't link. If that doesn't work for us, we're not going to force it. There's no need to force it. Communication in my life has been knowing how I feel, telling people how I feel, and then having a big open heart to hear how they feel. I really, truly hope that communication can be something that serves you in your life, that helps you create a beautiful life. I hope that you can find the courage, truly the courage. What is that? I don't know. Something behind me in the fridge. I truly hope you can find the courage in the small moments to turn inwards and say, how do I really feel about this? How do I really feel about this? All the fog away, all the smoke and mirrors away. How do I really feel about this? Yeah, that's a no from me. Damn, that hurts. Yeah, it does. What are they going to say about that? We'll learn when we tell them. Look, communication is a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. It can be a horrible, destructive thing. The choice is yours. I hope you can find communication or develop communication as a skill that's beneficial in your life. Thanks for listening. Peace.